The Burrows of Berea is a conversational podcast. We study the Bible and we talk about it.
Not all of us are of the same faith, and one of us doesn't actually have a faith.
And that's wonderful. We all love one another, and we're going to continue to talk about these things.
The things we believe in and the things we believe about what we read in the Bible. Not all of these are necessarily true. Some of it is opinion and speculation. Thank you for
listening and speculating with us.
There you go. That was good. Yes.
You are listening to the Burrows of Berea.
Well, welcome back to the Burrows of Berea. I am Rick Welch, and to my left is Electric Rickening Carter. Behind the glass, Rocket Man Andy Bishop. And to my right, Sarita the Edge Edgerton.
Hola.
We do not have Billy. Billy had to work. We do not have Cherry. Cherry had to stay home because she had back surgery. We don't have Tiziana because she has COVID. And we don't have Ralph because he has COVID. So we are really banging on all cylinders here.
Absolutely.
Skeleton crew.
Yeah, absolutely. I had talked about in the past that I was going to be reaching out. We have a special guest here. Yeah, from The Chosen, actor Steve Shermett. Did I say that right, Steve?
I am so impressed. Nobody ever gets it right. Thank you.
Did I say it right?
You did.
Good.
Wow.
That's so nice. Thanks for being on the show, Steve. And I did see you. Were you the Pharisee in season 3 that was reading when the cistern was broke?
Yeah, that was me.
That's you, wasn't it? I thought that was you.
No, I'm sorry. I am in, I think I said I've only watched 3. I've actually watched 5. So I have seen you.
You've seen him. Yeah, very good. So, Steve, what we normally do, we like to ask our guests if they can tell us the earliest memory that they have of when they heard the name Jesus. Could you even recall that?
In the household I grew up in, the only time I would have heard that name was when someone was swearing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
We just talked about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the earliest time I heard it that way.
Yeah.
Earliest time I probably heard it in a positive way, high school.
In high school. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then whenever, do you have, a salvation experience at some point in your life that you would be willing to share with us?
Yeah, it was right after high school. I don't know if I started reading the scriptures during high school or right at the end of high school, but it was just one of those things where in my heart, I was dissatisfied with life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean dissatisfied in just the intellectual sense. I mean, my heart was heavy and my life wasn't pleasant.
Mm-hmm. And
I was wondering, is this it? I'm just starting, and is this all I have to look forward to? Is there something bigger, better? And that immediately led in my mind to, is there a God?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a purpose to life? Always leads to, is there a God? I was raised going to the synagogue on and off, but nobody in my immediate family practiced God as if he were real in their day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I didn't know if there was a God. I was kind of agnostic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know, so I might as well look.
Sure.
And that started me reading the Jewish scriptures, the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm.
And the scriptures are very convicting. God's standard of holiness is found in the Torah, in the Old Testament, is very high.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, he says, be holy, even as I am holy.
Right.
And then he lays out all these commandments and rules and regulations. And if that's the standard, if there's a God and that's his standard, I'm in trouble. Because I don't meet up to any of those. Well, I can't say I don't meet up to any of them, but, I was definitely not on the winning curve of that.
Yeah, not to his level anyway, on any of them, right? Yeah, not to his level. Sure, I see that. I get that.
I learned later that, his level is 100% perfection. It's a pass-fail test. It's not graded on the curve.
Right.
But so as I'm reading through the scriptures, wondering if there is a God, I'm starting to believe there might be. The scriptures were just, I don't know, they came across as true to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't convinced. I came across a passage of scripture where God basically challenges people,
Yeah.
And I said, well, hey, if you're there, show yourself to me. reveal yourself to me.
Mm-hmm.
He did not.
Mm.
But I thought in my mind, well, I'm going to keep reading this book. At least I'm going to get through it.
Sure.
And then at least if there's a God at the very end, I can say, hey, I looked, you didn't reveal. That's on you. I tried.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. You're right.
So it wasn't too long after that I started meeting people telling me about Jesus left and right, that he's the Jewish Messiah. And I did not believe that, but it made conversation. And I started reading the scriptures again from the beginning to see if what they were saying lined up.
Mm-hmm.
And though I didn't find anything in the Old Testament initially about Jesus that I saw a lot of things that they were saying did line up. And so I just asked God, hey, if this is real, let me know. So long story short, I became convinced based on Jewish prophecy that a friend showed me that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem of a virgin before the temple was destroyed. He'd be rejected by the people, die for their sins, and rise from the dead. All of that in the Jewish Bible.
Yeah.
So I knew that was the story of Jesus. And if I believed in him, my sins would be forgiven and I'd be made a new person. And so I did believe in him, and I turned my life over to him. And sure enough, I felt a great burden relief off of my chest. And I just became a passionate follower of Jesus from that point on.
I think it's amazing that you went through the Old Testament first.
Yeah, that is interesting for a
Because-
modern
Yeah,
Westerner.
for modern, because most of the time, and of course that was from your heritage, right, your family, and so
Exactly. Yeah, I wasn't interested in the New Testament.
sure. So for us, like we were introduced, immediately, read Matthew or read John or read Mark. That's how we start, and we don't really know what is being referenced in the Old Testament. We just, but we believe what people tell us, and then it shapes. You read the Old Testament and saw it for yourself when you read the New. That's a pretty amazing testimony.
Where
That's
are you
the way
from?
God laid it out, though, right?
Yep, that's right.
Where are you from,
Yeah.
Steve, originally?
Originally, Connecticut.
Okay.
Oh, Connecticut.
Well, we grew up in the Bible Belt South.
Yeah.
So we grew up with the Bible in our hands all the time. And so
And lots of Dollar Generals.
I didn't really I thought the Old Testament growing up was Genesis, Psalms and Proverbs, sometimes Isaiah, and then the New Testament.
Yeah. Yeah. That was our approach. We like to, we get on here and we take books and we study the books of the Bible together, and being from different walks of life, it actually opens up a very unique way. It does. You hear questions, like Andy, for example, would ask a question. You're like, huh? Or I say, hey, this letter was written to this person in this time. It wasn't written to you. It was written for them. What does that mean? And he's like, yeah, duh. Of course, that's the way it is. But for us, we a lot of times pick up the Bible and think it's speaking directly to me right now. And, so it's been very eye-opening doing this. So I'm really curious. I'm sorry?
I like to tell people the whole Bible was written for us, but it wasn't all written to us.
That's right. That's exactly right. Whenever, so tell me, how did you get into acting?
Well, it started when I was in middle school. I saw a presentation of a musical for an assembly from the local high school, and I was entranced. I loved it. And so I just decided when I get into high school, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So when I got into high school, I joined the drama club, and I was doing musicals and plays, and it quickly moved to community theater and semi-professional theater. And I did that for several years. Mm-hmm. And then I stepped away from it and came back to television and screen for the first time about 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So how long was that gap?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. You got a calculator on you?
I do.
Let's see. I grab my phone here and do some math because I don't have that many fingers. Let's see. What year was it 7 years ago?
2016.
1996. 2016.
2016.
Approximately 32 years.
Wow.
You took a 32-year hiatus
Yeah.
and came
Isn't that
back.
crazy?
That's amazing.
What brought you back?
I was looking for a hobby and looking for fun things to do. And I was trying this, that, and the next thing. And I saw this meetup that was happening. It was, I was on sabbatical. It was my birthday. And I saw this meetup up in Phoenix, coincidentally. I just happened to see it, that they're doing an on-screen acting class. And the guy doing it, somebody I've seen in the movies before, so I knew it was legit. And so I said, I wonder if I still like acting. And I wonder if I'm still good at it. So what the heck? I got nothing better to do today. I'm going to drive up to Phoenix. I was in Tucson at the time. I'm going to drive up to Phoenix and check it out.
Wow.
Dudes, I loved it. It was like all the good feels and memories came back. This is what I should have been doing all these years. I shouldn't have stepped away from it. It felt so good. I'm coming back.
That's awesome.
And you
Making a
came back in a
comeback.
big way.
Yeah, that's really cool. So tell us some of the projects. I definitely want to get to The Chosen because it's such an important show for me and Rick Carter here, especially. But what's that?
That's one of his pictures.
Well, speak, man.
Yeah. Well, I was leading on. I was going to show you
Oh
one of
yeah,
the things that he has done that's on your IBDM. That you, looks like
IMDb.
Looks like you played a cowboy.
Yeah, The Righteous 12. In fact, that should be hitting streaming this month.
Oh wow, what's it on?
Yep, The Righteous 12. I don't know what platform yet.
Okay.
It's not been released. I'll be posting it on social media as soon as I hear.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I play one of the leads in that. It's a faith-based film, and it's about a group of like desperados who meet up with like a lay preacher, and they decide to go avenge the death of his friend and the lead gang member's brother in Tombstone, Arizona.
Oh, okay. Very
And
cool.
The desperados, in process, all give their lives to God, and they end up becoming the Righteous 12.
Righteous
Oh,
12.
wow, that's
Wow.
cool. Yeah. So, what about? It looked like you were in something with Ted Danson at one point.
The mayor, Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor.
that, Mr. Mayor on NBC. They only had 2 seasons. I was in the season finale with him and Holly Hunter. That was fabulous.
Oh, that's cool.
I love her.
Yeah, she
Her
was
voice
amazing
is so
to work
cool.
with, too.
She was the one from Incredibles, right?
Yes,
She was
I
the voice
imagine,
of Elastigirl. Yeah.
I imagine that's what I sound like, but it's not anything close.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, she was wonderful to work with as well.
So tell me, just out of curiosity. Well, first of all, the actor who plays the father of Matthew, Alphaeus, the character, is Turhan Troy Kalak, and I went to high school with him.
Oh, how cool is that?
It's nuts. I've been talking to him. I'm trying to get him to come back home, like come back out and hang out with us here. And I knew that you and I had spoken. I didn't know. I know that the way they film, you most likely have not met each other because it was totally different, sets. But very, very cool. So, how did you find out about The Chosen? How did you audition? How did this happen? And you do understand, and I know you know this, what an amazing impact you're making on the globe with the show, right? It's phenomenal.
I'm thrilled and honored and blessed to be a part of this series.
Mm-hmm.
I watch very closely what it's doing, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in movie theaters. That's all. I mean,
I know,
what TV show has done that?
I don't.
Yeah.
I can't think of. I mean,
Power
I can't think of
Rangers.
one. Power Rangers. Okay.
The Chosen is breaking all sorts of molds in a fabulous way. It's just thrilling to watch it happen and to be a small part of it. It's
I
cool.
watched on that season 8 or season 3 episode 8 finale afterwards, the CEO of Angel Studios, when he was talking after it, he was crying. Like he was sincerely crying and talking about what it meant to him. And I was like, man, what is this? This is the most amazing business model that I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, it's
I remember
cool.
when they were crowdsourcing for it.
Yeah, they still are.
Way back, like
They're
when
paying
it
it
first
forward.
started.
Yeah.
I remember. I can't remember. Was it Dallas? He was on Glenn Beck. He was on
Dallas
several.
Jenkins? Yeah.
He was on several different things. Crowdsourcing. I was like, who is this guy and what is he doing? But this sounds awesome. And then fast forward, I've only seen part of the first season, but I mean, I know how the story ends.
Right.
But, it's magnificent. Like I want to crawl in there and meet Jesus.
Yeah.
I want to crawl in the screen and meet Jesus. That Jesus.
I know,
Yeah,
he's so
it'd
cool.
be amazing.
Jonathan Rumi, he's really something. So
Yeah.
let's talk about you. How did you find out about The Chosen, and what led you to audition?
Well, I knew about The Chosen before The Chosen was The Chosen.
Okay.
Dallas Jenkins and I were Facebook friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so when his Christmas short went viral,
That was the
I
shepherd,
mean, I was
right?
there. I watched that. I showed it at my church.
Wow.
It was called The Shepherd. It ended up becoming the pilot episode of the series. And I just decided from that, and also from his film, The Resurrection of Gavin Stone,
Yes.
especially from that film, that this director is fabulous. This is the kind of Christian media I want to be involved in. High quality, high caliber, excellence. And I'm going to follow this man and I'm going to work with him someday.
Sure.
And so we developed, like I said, some sort of friendship on Facebook. And when The Chosen became a thing, I was like, dude, I have to get an audition for this, right?
Yes.
Of course you'll get an audition for this. So I started actually learning a Middle Eastern dialect
Yes.
in preparation for my audition, probably a year ahead of time or something crazy like that.
Wow.
And then when the auditions opened up, he graciously gave me an audition and I booked the role of Rabbi Josiah. At the time, it was just a generic rabbi, but since then, the character has been developed and given a name.
Yeah, Rabbi Josiah. That's very cool. And so you were in season 1 and season 3, correct?
Correct. In season 1, I'm in episodes 4 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
In episode 4, having the conversation about John the Baptist in the synagogue with the other rabbis. And in episode 8, me and one other rabbi crash Matthew's dinner party with all the disciples there and have a little discussion/argument with Jesus. And
Yes, that's
Y'all
right.
Yep.
I remember that scene.
And then in season 3, as you pointed out earlier, I am the rabbi reading the very thrilling passage from Leviticus on purity,
Yes.
purification,
Yes.
cleansing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think it's awesome. And since doing this and becoming a part of this, how has it affected your life?
I don't know. I'm not the most introspective person on the planet. I can tell you that being part of The Chosen and watching The Chosen, even though I'm in it, I'm also a fan of the series.
Yes.
And just like the episodes touch people's hearts and lives, it touches my heart too.
Mm-hmm.
I fall more deeply in love with Jesus as I watch him interacting with the children and seeing him in difficult situations, showing his love and grace and wisdom. I love it. And it makes me want to be a better follower of his.
Yes. Absolutely. That's one of the things that I hear. I like to watch those videos that people send in, when you're watching on the app and they have people just talking. And some people, there was a guy the other night that said I was on a bit of suicide. It was about to happen. And I saw this ad for it come across my phone and I clicked it and I watched it and I'm here today. And I'm like, what? Really? Was that close? Like what? Like that? It's been affecting a lot of people in a very, very big
These
way.
guys talk about this show a lot.
Yeah.
Apropos of nothing, just because they want to. So
A lot of times, especially when me and Rick get together, because we're fully caught up. And so you never know, like we did today, we did an episode on the I am statements. And we talked about I am the bread of life and, the ways that Jesus would speak. And we just watched, episode 8 where he feeds the 5,000 and everything that's happening. And it's like, God, that you get the imagery and it helps. It's really cool to remember that. And just to see, I think my favorite moment, just because it's my wife's favorite moment, is in the very first episode of season 1. Is when he comes to Mary and he says, Mary of Magdala, and then he says, you are mine. My wife cries even now. If we watch it over and over, she cries. She just knows.
He puts his hands on her face.
I get goosebumps.
I
every
know.
time.
It's just.
He puts his hands on her, he puts his hands on, and I just, oh.
Yeah. So Rabbi Josiah, you've got some stuff coming in the future, huh?
I will be, by God's grace, in season 4.
Season 4.
Awesome.
Yeah, as long as the scheduling works out. I mean, I'm waiting to hear any day now what the schedule is. They asked me, I think 2 days ago, what my availability is through the next filming season. I gave them my dates, so we'll see. I expect it to work out, though.
Yeah, awesome. And and The Righteous 12 will be coming out here pretty soon. Guys, let's look for that. And to my audience, if you will, go look up Steve Shermett and look at his IMDb, see the work that he's done in the past, and also watch him on The Chosen in season 1, episode 4 and 8. That's right. And season 3, episode 4. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's incredible.
There's a fabulous film that just came out a few months ago called Pursuit of Freedom. I would highly recommend everybody see.
Okay. Are you in that?
Yeah, I'm in it. I have a small pivotal role in that. It's just a fabulous film based on a true story, very moving and well done. Pursuit of Freedom, various platforms. I think Amazon has it.
Okay. Steve, are you familiar with the Cristiano brothers?
I am, yeah.
Have you ever met Dave or Rich before?
I don't think I've ever met either of them in person, though I might have corresponded with one of them, eons ago.
I would love to introduce you to Dave. I think it would be great. He's getting ready to make another film. He has one coming out. I actually played an extra in that, which is totally hilarious. And but I did it because I bugged him about being on the show. And he was like, he doesn't give interviews. He hadn't in 20 years. And I was like, please come be on the show. And he's like, no. And then he agreed. I was like, do you remember those days when you could talk about Jesus? And he was like, fine, I'll come and talk about Jesus. So then he comes and, but before he does, he lets me know that I need to be in Nashville, to play an extra for him. So then, he got that out of me. It was really fun though. We had a good time.
Well, hey, when we're done here, I can either send you what's called my package or a link to my acting reel and you could pass it along.
I will.
Do great service. I'd appreciate that.
Absolutely. I'll pass it on to Dave and Rich, and incredible guys, always share the gospel in their films. They no compromise on their end for them. They have a specific
they were
vision.
At the beginning of the whole Christian film movement.
They really were. Yeah, they really were in the late 70s, early 80s.
To work with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will do that, Steve. So send that to me. But thank you so much for being on our show. It means a lot that you were willing to be on, and even though you're out in New Mexico, and I wish I could have you in the studio. Maybe in the future we can do that again, That'd be great.
Where are you located?
Western North Carolina, near Asheville.
Okay. I've got a son who lives in Chattanooga area.
Yeah, that's not too far. What is it, about
4 or 5 hours?
3.5, 4 hours from here.
You can't get there from her.
You can.
It just takes a while.
It takes a while to get there from her. But anyway, but thanks so much for being on the show, Steve.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. It's nice meeting all of y'all.
It's nice to meet you. All y'all.
Hey, you're down home. Yeah, very good.
And we can't wait to see more of you in The Chosen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Despite the fact you're on the bad side, actually.
What was that?
He said that he wants to see you on The Chosen, except you're one of the bad guys.
That has not yet been determined.
See, you can start off as a bad guy rabbi, but then suddenly you can be a believer.
Ask Nicodemus.
Ask Nicodemus.
Yes.
That's right. And Josephus.
I love
Not
it.
Josephus,
No,
but
Joseph
of
of
Arimathea. Sorry, not the writer of.
Not the historical
Not
writer.
the historical writer. Anyway, well, thanks a lot, Steve. We will. I really appreciate it. Send me your package, and I'll forward that on to Dave.
Sounds good, my friend. Thank you very much.
It was an honor, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
all.
Yeah, God
God
bless you.
you.
We'll see you.
Okay, bye-bye.
So, can you guys give me the elevator pitch on his character and his character's role?
Well, hold on. Let's do a close. You're going to stay on, Steve, if that's okay. Will you stay on for a minute? I want to do a close out of the show. Is that what you're asking?
Oh, I was just wanted to know about his character, but we can, whatever. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. That was really cool of Steve to do that for us, wasn't it? Yeah. I meant to ask him if he could invite me over to Dallas Jenkins' house.
Me too.
I know. I forgot to ask him.
Tour bus.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to play it cool with these big name actors now.
You asked the second time.
You can't just show up at their house and be like, "Hey." Anyway, yeah. Well, Rick, Andy, Sarita, thanks for being on here.
You know
That
it.
was lots of
We
fun.
loved it.
We'll reach out to Turhan, try to get him on too.
I'm holding down the lady fort today.
You
You
So,
are the only lady in the room.
The lone soldier.
That's right. All right. Well, we will talk to you guys again next time on the Burros of Berea. Peace out.
bye, y'all.
Later.
Hey guys, this is Rick from the Burros of Berea. Do you know how much blood, sweat, and tears it takes to make a podcast? None. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't cost a lot. And so if you guys don't mind, if anybody would like to give to help us with these episodes, it would be great. We'll put out even more content. And if you go to our Patreon page, just search for the Burros of Berea, you'll get extra notes, extra episodes, and it's pretty much free. $1 gets you a lot. Thanks, guys.
No, that'd be great. I got a new show in development right now, so the more people we can get over there, the better.
Oh, man, we should have talked about that.
I know.
Well, let's do
much
it.
more
Go
Are we
ahead. I'll just put it in the
about.
post.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about it, and we'll put it in post. What we do is a lot of times we have conversations that are happening after the show, and we'll actually play them. So tell us about what you're working on.
It's a pilot pitch for a new series called David, A King's Calling.
Okay.
So it's about the life of King David.
I just saw that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm helping to produce it, and I'm playing the role of Samuel the prophet.
Oh, what a great role.
You get to
Yeah.
hack up the king to death, right?
Yeah. And he gets
Yeah, I
to,
just
he gets to
wonder how
give
we're gonna
David
do
a
that
good
scene,
one.
right?
King Ahab, yeah, hack him to pieces, huh?
You get to also do
Is that his name?
what David, you
Yeah.
get to give David a good
Agag.
what for?
Yep. That's exactly right.
Samuel gives David a good what for, right?
A good what for?
Yeah.
Yeah, Samuel is a very important pivotal role. So that's awesome.
He's got 2 books.
And this is
in
going
the
to be like a
Bible.
Bible.
series. Are you trying to pitch it to Angel Studios or anyone?
We're going to pitch it to anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
But sure, certainly Angel Studios will be one of them.
Yeah.
And the series, we're hoping to film the pilot this summer, but it's going to be crowdfunded too.
Oh, okay.
So we need, as many hearts and pocketbooks as people are willing to open to help us to make the series. The gentlemen who are behind it, the Cook brothers, produced their first short film, which was an award-winning film called The 10th,
Okay.
which is on Redeem TV. It's fabulous.
Oh, I have
encourage
Redeem
you to
TV, the
see it.
10th. Okay.
The 10th, yeah. And you can see the type of caliber they're heading for. That was done on like a shoestring budget. This will be done on a better budget, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
That's exciting. Yeah, very good. Well, let's keep up with them and let's see how it goes. So
Yep.
whenever you have a hit show and you're Samuel and all that, you don't forget about us, right? And so we reach out and say, hey, will you be on our show too? Is that cool?
I hope so.
Don't forget about us. All right. For sure.
Stay in touch.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right, brother.
We'll talk
God
to you
bless
soon,
ya.
brother. All right. We'll see you.
Okay, cheers.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Hey guys, this is Andy. Just letting you know that a lot of this conversation was captured before the guest arrived with people in the room, but people not on mic, so the sound's not very good, but I thought it was interesting enough to keep. I hope you like it. That's my jacket.
Basically could be seen from the city that was almost in the shape of a sword, that they refer to it as the shape of a sword. Josephus also writes about that even in the temple, that it could be heard that in the holiest of holies, a voice saying, let us go forth, as though it was the spirits coming out of the holiest of holies. And that the temple gates were so big and so heavy, it would take 12 men alone to move one gate to close it. And they would always close the gate. They'd wake up the next morning, the gates would be open on their own. And Josephus says it's almost as if God himself has abandoned the temple for itself, that it would never stay closed, that the gates would never stay closed.
And the biggest thing is that none of that actually helped me when I read that history. I used it in the Olivet Discourse, but that's not what caused me to convert. What caused me to convert was my desperate cry to God, because I was so I was so burdened with it.
So when does the judgment happen?
What do you mean?
Does this world ever stop?
No.
It goes on forever and ever.
Yes. Revelation 22 says it.
This is as good as it gets.
No.
What do you mean?
This is the new heaven and the new earth?
Yes.
Well, that is a misconception, because the new heaven and earth was not the actual physical planet in the heaven. The new heaven, the heavens and earth was a relationship with God. There was
I actually went into that. Do you remember that?
the new heaven and new earth was the new relationship with God.
This
I was
isn't-
so overwhelmed with what you were talking about.
Yes.
I might need to go back and read
It's
it,
not
listen
that,
to it
it's not
again.
well, and that's why we stopped,
Yes.
because it got to be too much for everybody. They just couldn't handle it, so I just stopped.
Yeah.
And so when we get to episode 8, because I was going to 12, but
So how
Ralph just couldn't take it.
So I know that you really like Gary DeMar. He's very, very smart. And I liked him too. I thought he was a very nice person.
you talking about Gary or Mike Sullivan?
Gary DeMar.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Very
The guy that
intelligent.
runs
Yeah,
American
the one
Vision.
that you called
Yeah.
out, called him a preterist.
I didn't mean to.
You called him a full preterist.
Yeah, you did.
I asked
And
him a
he
question.
never.
I asked him a
I
question.
did.
He didn't answer.
Yeah, he did because he didn't answer it.
Because he didn't answer.
He didn't
Yes.
actually respond.
So he's
He did.
very
No, what I'm saying is that he didn't look at her and say, "Oh, I'm not a full preterist. I'm
Yes.
a partial." That's how he answers on Facebook, but he
Yes.
didn't answer on this.
No.
Yeah, and I guess it's either slipped by him
You sucked or
or
punched him right in the
I
mouth.
sucker punched him right in the gut.
You cut him.
But so he's very smart, very intelligent. Like
Just like
everything
him
that he
and-
said, I've read it. Like his history. Oh, I meant to bring that to you. Dang it, the Christian history book. So smart, so well done.
I give you that. That's yours.
I know, but you wanted to borrow it and read it.
Oh, I'll buy it.
I was gonna say you could just. I used to like, but so he's very smart, But then I look at someone like Ken Gentry, who I also think is very smart, and how can they be so different?
It's very simple.
Well, it's easy.
It's a really
Somebody's
simple
wrong.
answer. You want my answer?
Basically,
Because
it's a war of words.
It's right now they're having the war of the words mellow between the two of them. They're
About
going
to
back and
be.
forth. About to be, fixing to be, imminently,
Yes.
immediately.
Yeah.
are you listening?
Versus,
Are you listening to Kim Burgess and Gary DeMar?
No. This is I'm just reading their Facebook.
Oh my
page.
gosh, you should share that with her.
Yeah, Covenant Hermeneutics.
Just to.
Oh,
I
I've
mean,
seen the
and
podcast
biblical
advertised.
eschatology.
I follow them, but I'm just the back and forth between them. I'm enjoying that. It's absolutely fascinating to watch these two mind giants go at it, like their interpretation of it. It's fascinating to me. No matter, I think that you're wrong. You think that I'm wrong. You think that I'm misguided.
What
I
I'm
think
about
maybe
to
you're
say
misguided.
is going to sound very condescending. Please don't take it that way. I don't think that you're wrong. I don't. I just don't think that you've gotten to that place yet that I had to go through. But
there are millions of people who have never done that.
That's exactly
Does that
right.
make their faith any less?
No, it does not.
No.
But according to some full preterists,
That's
it
their
does.
problem. That's not mine.
It makes
I'm
my
not every
faith
full
less.
preterist. I'm not every full preterist.
I know, but what I'm saying is, it kind of. I just hate that we have to. I don't believe in the pre-tribulation rapture. I really don't. I've gotten past that place.
Do you believe that the rapture is, or do you believe that the tribulation is future?
Yes.
What was the purpose of tribulation? What's the purpose of the tribulation?
The purpose of any tribulation is to test the church.
It's not even about the church.
No.
The Bible doesn't even talk about the tribulation of the church.
No. Don't.
They escape.
Yep.
They do. The Bible says it. Jesus actually says it in Matthew 24. He tells them, when you see this, flee to the mountains of Judea.
And you believe that physically happened?
Absolutely. They
Oh,
went
yeah.
to Pella. It's historical.
Yes.
They actually went to Pella.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Josephus
heard of
writes
this?
and said that no Christian ever died in that war. They got out.
They got out because the general
And he
backs
he
up.
explains it really well.
It's really crazy. Like, even Josephus is like, we have no idea why he backed up and left.
Yeah,
But
because
some of the people got out, and it was the Christians that did.
yes.
But is this the best that it gets? You asked me that question earlier. Is this the best that it gets? Well, it all depends. Do you have an abundant life?
I asked the question, do you live
Hold on.
better than your
Hold
grandparents?
on. Let me get that question answered. Do you have an abundant life?
Do I personally?
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Because of my faith.
Because of whom?
Because of Jesus and my faith in
Okay,
Jesus.
so you have an abundant life.
Yes.
Do you have eternal life now?
Of course.
You do. If you believe in dispensationalism, you don't have eternal life now. You're going into the ground, and you're going to wait until you're raptured out or busted out of the ground.
Yes.
You don't go to him to have sense with the body, presence of the Lord. I know. We can get into that. We'll get into all of that. It's not about present like standing there. It's present to God. Because he's talking to the Christians that were alive in the time in the Bible, okay? I have an abundant life, and I have a king at the right hand of the Father, and I am a co-heir of Christ right this second. And there will never be the sacrificial lambs. There'll never be the burnt offerings, the wave offerings. God will never accept them. He's not bringing the Jews back. There's no longer Jew nor Greek. Those days are over. We're only in Christ. That's it.
So, and do you believe in? Well, I guess what. And we're getting close.
Yeah, I got to hit start.
We'll pick it back up.
Well, that's what I thought. If you want to wait and do a study, We can wait.
I'm doing some research. Let's just put it that way.
And please don't take that as
these?
condescending. Look at my
No.
face. Please don't take that as condescending.
Oh.
I fought this tooth and nail.
Oh, wow.
I was so pissed.
Yes.
I was like, oh, this is the new
stormed-
heaven and earth?
I was turning around the house and
What
going
a bum
are
gig.
Are you kidding me?
That's
Is
just
this-
join with computer audio, I assume. Yeah.
What happened to my ear?
It's upside down. Did
I'm
you
wearing
break
my
it?
chosen shirt.
No, she didn't. It's just those things are like that. Hold on.
What did I
There
do?
you go. You got it. You got it. There you go. Ta-da.
Okay. It
Awesome.
was weird. It
Did he
wouldn't
lock
do
us in
right.
here? Hold on.
Awesome. Hey.
Steve, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, got it right.
Hey.
Yes, I can. I'm going to let these people come around and say hello. Come in here. Come in here.
Hi. How are
you doing?
I'm Sarita. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
My dad's name is Steve. That's a good name.
Yeah, Steve's a good name.
This is Rick Carter.
I'm Rick number 2.
Hello, Rick. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and this is Andy Bishop right here.
Hi. How are you?
Adi. Look at you got a whole team working with you there. That's great.
We do. We actually have a lot more. They have COVID, and so they couldn't be here.
Ooh.
I know.
Bummer.
It was a bummer. Yeah, you and I have talked a lot just through Facebook in the past, about movies because I was at Tacky Tie Films, and I always wanted to use you, but I'm not a SAG director, which stinks because then we could work together, right? But I'm not SAG.
That's easy to fix. They make it so easy nowadays.
Do they?
Yeah, they have ultra low budget contracts and they got low budget contracts and they got one page contracts. You can make it happen.
I saw the ultra low budget of $300,000 or $400,000, and I about swallowed my tongue. I was like, yeah,
They got lower. They got lower than that.
they got lower than that, do they?
Yeah. And check out their new media contract as well.
Okay, I will. I'll check that out. Hey, Andy, are we rolling?
Yes, sir, we are.
All right, so I'll give you a little. Have you listened to any of the Burros of Berea yet, Steve, at all?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, let me give you a little bit of background about who we are, and that way you kind of understand what's going on, because I'm going to ask for your personal testimony because I know you're a believer, and I also know that you're on the Chosen. I did want to talk to you about that as well. I wore my shirt
so
today.
You got your get used to different.
I brought my gear for the day, yeah. So we are comprised of people of differing beliefs. We have all Christians except for one is an atheist. Andy is our sound engineer. He's an atheist. He's a part of the group. He does read along with us and talk and interject. We have some that are full preterists, partial preterists. We have dispensationalists, so we're all over the map.
Well, hey, brother, everybody's got the right to be wrong.
Yes, everybody's got the right to be wrong. Yeah,
Oh.
I think that's good. Maybe we should get a shirt that says "Get used to being wrong."
That's
that would be
perfect.
ours, right?
Yeah.
Very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do our standard intro, and then I'm going to introduce you. Are you comfortable sharing your personal testimony?
I guess, always give honor to the Lord.
You don't have to if you don't want. We can talk about the Chosen. We can talk about what you're doing. That's good.
By the way, I do
let's-
have to say that I have only seen 3 episodes of The Chosen. I love it. I just have 4 kids. So,
How old are your kids? Because a lot of kids love it too.
well, yes, they would,
I
and
mean,
they normally do, but they all play sports, and they're teenagers, and one's married, and so it's just been a crazy time. So I have
That's
not.
it. My kids don't watch it, so I hear you.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
Yeah, my kid never likes anything I like.
that'll change.
Now they watched the first
will.
3 with me, and they liked it, but then we haven't had time. You can't go on without us, Mom. I'm like, well, would y'all sit down in the same room at the same time? That'd be nice, but they won't do that. So
And my first appearance is in number 4 too.
dang it.
Yep. That's true. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started, and then we'll just talk. I'll ask you a couple of questions, and just feel free to answer as honestly as you'd like. And then we'll just go from there. Okay.
Sounds good. I think my first musical was No No Nanette, and I actually learned to tap dance. I was understudy for the lead role. The guy who was the lead in that musical went off to become a professional ballet dancer.